Alright YouTube, in this video what we're going to see is you will see a division tag. This division tag is going to get converted into a form field as I click on it. You can see there is a division tag which has details about name, Vishal, age 25, gender, male and designation web developer. This kind of thing you can see on a login system. You have logged in into a application, whereas it will show your own information in that place. If you want to click and edit your information, you can do it. You'll get the source code in the description. We are going to create this with the help of HTML, CSS, JavaScript, jQuery and PHP. You can see when I click on it, it gets converted into the division tag, and I can change my name from Vishal to Vishal, and the age let's be 26, and I'm a male, and the designation is going to be designer and developer. If I click on submit, the data will be saved in database, as well as it gets fetched from the database and get displayed as what we have entered on the form field. Fine. The database we are going to use is simply the testing. You will get the backup of the database, and inside the testing you will have a table called tbl underscore employee, which will hold some columns which we are going to fetch right now. Let's wait until it loads so that we can proceed further. We have a column called id, which is auto increment, you can say primary key, say followed by name, gender, designation and age. These are the four details. These are five details which actually it is the four details we are going to fetch from the database and going to display it on the page. Fine. Now let me show you the index page. First of all, I have added a credential so that I can get the information on page load. So I have used select star from employee, whereas I know my ID, so I have used hard coded value ID. So then comes the query which I'm going to run, and I have stored it in a variable called result, and the result is an array, so I get as an associative array called name row. And these are the bootstrap template, and we have two division. The first one is division field and the second one is form field. We have two division which we are going to display one by one. You can see that is the first one is division field, which we have used to retrieve the data from the database on the paragraph, and followed by that the form field, which will not display on load. When I click on the division field, it will show up. So simply we have a id, neither action nor method over here, because we are going to send it through ajax, and input field name as name. The second one is for age, and the third one is for select. You can see there is a name and id. To get the value or from the database, you can use in the value attribute, and in the value attribute you can use the PHP code to retrieve data from the database, but select tag will not allow. But what we'll do is we will populate the select tag with jQuery, and then is the designation, there is the ID. So you can see the ID is hidden. We will send the ID through the form to the ajax to a page so that we can perform fetch operation, select operation using this hidden input field called id. Please note this id is going to play a huge role in our tutorial. If you don't understand, you can anytime rewind and listen to it. Fine. We have a input type submit. This submit is really important because you can see we have just used id, and then comes the cancel button. Fine. It's time for the jQuery part. Once the jQuery part is done, we will get into the page update.php. I want the form field should be hidden, and the form field should populate its value by, this is a select tag id, and the value would be populated from the database. This is how we write PHP in JavaScript, or you can say jQuery. Fine. The division tag, when I click on division tag, it should get hide, and the form field should show at a animation time of 1 second, or you can say transition time. If I click on cancel on the form field, what should happen is the division tag should show up and the form field should hide. You can rearrange it, that's not an issue. Simple. This is the show and hide jQuery function. Once I click on submit form of form field, you can see I have chosen the ID of the form and I have implemented a listener on, and on submit, this is why I said you have to use button input type equal to submit, because that's when it's going to happen. I have passed a parameter e dot prevent default. Usually what will happen is if I click on submit, the page will get reload. To stop this, we have used it. So once I click on submit, I want to use Ajax, and this is a file where we are going to use our fetch operation, and the method we are going to send is post. By the form you can use either get or post. I am going to use post so that my data won't show up in the URL, and this is a secure way. And the data we are going to send is the form field. This means the current form, and the value should be in the serialized way, so that you can accept the data as name and value from the URL. So on success, what should happen is the form field should get hide and the division tag should show up with the data which we have inserted, and then the division tag should show up. Now it's time for the update.php. These are the credential, and these are the data which we have retrieved from the form field through Ajax. So you can see I have used post, so I have retrieved the name of the HTML tag of form using the post and stored it into a variable. These are the name attribute of the input field, and this is the post method which I have used to send data through Ajax, and this is a variable which I have used to store. This is the connection. We have seen a lot about this. Now this is the SQL. We are going to use the update operation here. Update table name set, and the name should be the name which we have retrieved from the Ajax, and age is also we retrieved from the Ajax. For similarly for gender and designation also we have retrieved it from the Ajax, where ID equal to 1. The 1 can be the hidden field, which I have not mentioned it, but you can do it. We can retrieve the ID. Since my value is hard coded, I have not sent the ID, the hidden field. You can use this as well, that's not an issue. You can use the ID over here so that you can get updated, you can get the updation part. Fine. If the SQL runs without any error, SQL query runs without any error, I want to select all the data from field where ID is. Here I have used the hidden field. The reason for that is once I click on submit and I have changed the value, once I click on submit, it will get updated. At the same time, I want the data to fetch the fresh records. For that, to get the fetch record, I have used select, and I have run the select query and send the same format which I have used in the division tag into a variable called output, and I have received the output value, and this output value is retrieved from the function parameter, and I have used it in the division tag, and now it get updated. That's all for this video. Thank you so much for listening. Get the source code in the description.